Hey guys, welcome back to Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. Now exclusively on Spotify. And my name is Alec. I'm your host. And before anything else, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been supporting the podcast. If you are sharing the podcast on the different platforms, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, I want to say that I appreciate you big time. And also those who are commenting, answering on the polls, and of course leaving your answers on the Q&A. Thank you so much. In fact, I want to give a huge shout out to Alensky, who said, "I'm when I ask what are you grateful for today, um, she said I'm grateful for the new week of work, meeting my great office mate again, and my leaders. I'm grateful for my safety of my family. I'm grateful for listening to your daily episode of podcast." Thank you, Alec. Thank you so much, Alensky, and I hope that I continue to inspire you and keep on, sharing this one, and of course, just answering the questions in the Q&A. So yeah, now moving on in our today's episode, I want to share with you a simple concept that I kind of reflected on why or how self-improvement destroyed my life. Enjoy. Growth is painful, change is painful, but nothing is as painful as staying in somewhere you don't belong. That quote struck me when I first read it, and I have been pursuing change and growth ever since. And 3 years ago, I started to come across with this concept called personal development or self-improvement or self-help. And I started to read books about how could I be better, the 1% change, learning about how to not give an F about what other people think, and just focusing on myself, focusing on my growth, focusing on my change. And for quite some time, I was really obsessed with it, and I was really, really committed in learning as much as I can from all the books, all the videos, all the resources out there. And I was really obsessed in just making a better version of myself. But at the same time, when I learned about this, I didn't know that it required a lot of sacrifice. One of the biggest sacrifices that I made was my old life. And this video will talk about how self-improvement destroyed my old life. I was studying back then as an engineering student in one of the best engineering schools here in the Philippines. And I had a really bad time in my college era. I had failing grades left and right. I was kicked out of my program for 2 times. I think it was 2 times. I was kicked out of my program, and I was kind of lost and felt like I was just pushing myself to just graduate and finish with my course, because I promised my mother that I would finish the course. And so it felt like I was trying to fit in a place where I don't really belong, where I don't really fit in. And so when that happened, that's when the time that I kind of lost my confidence in myself, lost the self-esteem that I had, and I lost everything that I believed in myself that was true. And of course, in the absence of that certain truth, I also had space to really look for and search for truths that can also align with what I know my life could be like. And so I've always thought that life should be better, that there is a better life out there. And I had a couple of friends. I was doing okay. I had a girlfriend back then, but at the same time, I also felt like there was something more out there. And so when I was at my rock bottom, when I lost all of the things that there came a point where I got kicked out. My grades were so low. I was on probation. My girlfriend broke up with me. I felt like I needed to change who I was. And so that was the time when I and so that was the time when I contacted and that's when the time and so that's the time when I went out and searched for some other truths that can help me out. And that's the time that I came across a book. It was a business book by Robert Kiyosaki, but the contents of the book is not important. What's important is I learned that there was so much more to learn outside of college. There was so much more to learn outside of school. And then I learned about self-help books. I learned about nonfiction books, business books, psychology books, personal development books. I even went to the library, and instead of me finishing my assignments and homeworks, I was at the corner because there was this holy grail of self-help books and personal development books, and I devoured them each day that I was staying in my college up until I was really, really obsessed with it. And after a few months that I was just devouring as much information as I can, I also realized that I was losing a lot of my identity, especially of who I thought who I was before. And so now looking back, I realized that self improvement did destroy my old life. It ruined who I was before. The first major sign being I lost all of my old relationships. I lost my friends. I lost people around me, the people that I hang out with, um, mainly because the interests were not just the same. The values became different. Before, I valued fun, adventure, but coming into self improvement, I then valued growth, impact, contribution. And so my values shifted, and then I didn't even mean to do it, but my friends kind of stopped talking to me. And I also understand why a lot of people think that self improvement is a lonely path, because it is. There will be a lot of people who won't understand what it means to grow and what it takes for you to grow. And so, as you're growing, people around you are not going to grow at the same pace as you are. And if that's the case, you are definitely going to outgrow people. People who have been there for you ever since. People who have been there for you and you thought that you would spend your whole lifetimes together. And that's okay. You will lose some people, and self improvement will definitely destroy that part of your life. Another part of my life that was destroyed because of self improvement was my beliefs. Certain truths in my life about money, about success, about relationships were destroyed because of self improvement. And before, I wasn't aware that I could have better relationships than the relationships that I saw from my parents. I didn't know that I could become much richer than the richest man in our family. I didn't know that, but self improvement showed me that, hey, the beliefs that you have are not real, are not true. They are just beliefs that are limiting you, that was imposed while you were growing up. And I think that's the hardest part of all. When you have this increased awareness of what your limiting beliefs are and your limiting truths are, you would also realize that they are created when you are young. And they were created in some sort of long-term memory because of some traumatic event that you experienced as a child. And so if now that I'm into self-improvement, I realize that a lot of things in my past really hurt me and really are very painful, and they are just they are the reason, and they are the reason why I have a lot of limiting beliefs. And there's a part of me that wanted to blame the people from my past and the experiences from my past. But again, self-improvement showed me, but again, I also remembered that if I didn't know self improvement, I wouldn't even know that I had limiting beliefs. Ignorance is bliss for some people. Not knowing provides you comfort, certainty, because you are not being dealt with the unknown. You are not being dealt and pushed out of your comfort zone. You're just there. And so self improvement destroyed my limiting belief, destroyed my old life, destroyed my old truths, and showed me that there is another set of beliefs that will help me and guide me as I move forward. And probably that leads me to the third thing that self improvement destroyed in my life. It was my responsibility to the world. As I gained more self improvement, as I delved into self improvement, I got more awareness that also gave me more responsibilities in life. I had a heightened responsibility because of the heightened awareness that I have. Because if you understand how awareness and consciousness works and self improvement works, you would know that most of the things happening in your life comes from within you. It's not because your boss is a jerk. It's not because your parents are bad parents. It's not because people around you are assholes. It's because they just are acting the way that they are acting in the best of their abilities, but they don't know that, but you know that. And so it's up to you to decide how you would want to respond to those things. And it becomes now an internal game almost every single time, every single day. But before, it was so easy to blame and just justify and give out excuses. But now that's not even possible because you are aware that there is a better way to respond to things. You don't just react on things, and you understand that 99% of what's happening is internal and 1% of what's happening is external. And so that heightened awareness also gives you, or that heightened awareness also gave me that heightened responsibility. And it gave me a lot more better options as well, but at the same time, more pressure on my shoulder, knowing that because of self-improvement, I have a better role in the society and I have a bigger role in the society. The fourth thing that self-improvement destroyed in my life is my priorities. Before, I just prioritized what could give me the most fun and the most comfort at this moment. But because of self-improvement, I now seek for hard things, for challenging things, for uncomfortable situations, because I know that's those points are where I will grow the most, which is weird. Like sometimes I sleep on the floor because I read somewhere that sleeping on the floor consciously, and if you choose to sleep on the floor, you're choosing to be in an uncomfortable situation. You become more comfortable with the uncomfortable, and then when these circumstances that will push you to the edge, that will really stretch you out, you'll have more capacity to deal with them. And so now my brain is at a default. If it's uncomfortable, if it's painful, if it's hurting me, then that's a sign for me to keep going. That's a sign for me to choose that path. Okay, I'm not a masochist, and I don't like being in pain or feeling hurt. But at the same time, I know that if those things happen in my life, it's okay. Unlike before, I was, staying away from it, trying to protect myself at all cost. But I also realized that because self-improvement destroyed that part of me, it allowed me to see that there is an alternative in growth. And growth should always be the option, because if I'm not growing, I'm dying. And so self-improvement destroyed my priorities. Self-improvement showed me that there's a better set of opportunities that will allow me to align with my highest self. And that's what I should be gearing for. That's what I should be aiming for. And the last thing that self-improvement destroyed in my life was my definition of comfort zone. Before, I thought comfort zone was the place where you should stay. But now, because of self-improvement, I realized that our comfort zones might just be the most dangerous zones that we could be at, because our comfort zones might be that toxic relationship. Our comfort zones might be that abusive relationship, abusive behavior, that limiting belief that we're justifying to ourselves. That's not really meant for us to live all throughout our lives, because we are meant for more, because we deserve more. And because of that, I left my hometown. And because of that, I left the businesses, the path that I was told that to get onto. I looked for a lot of different paths, and because of that, I was challenged. And so self improvement destroyed what comfort zone was for me. And it showed me that the danger zone is not as bad as I think. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is hopefully you guys could see that self improvement will destroy your old life. But sometimes your old life must die so that your new life will be born. And so I hope that this video could land to you somewhere, whatever you're watching, and may this be a reminder that it's okay. It's okay if you're in this journey towards self-improvement and you might feel fear, you might feel scared, and that's okay, because it will definitely destroy your old life, but it will create a better one that will give you a better set of beliefs, relationships, even success and happiness in life. But it will require you an infinite amount of discipline, creating that structure, becoming obsessed with learning, and being in the game as if it's an infinite game. It never ends. And if you start this journey with me, I hope that you continue to do it and never stop doing it, because I know for a fact that we can never live a perfect life, but we can always live a life better than before. And so self-improvement might destroy your old life, but it's the way, at least for me. So yeah, thank you so much if you watched this video. I hope that you enjoyed this one. If you do, go ahead, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, and thank you so much for watching. Send me down your comments, your questions. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe to watch more of this video and the videos in my channel, and of course, watch my other videos if you like them. Thank you so much. Again, my name is Alec, and I'll see you in the next video.